Hey guys, this is Gamercow. I really shouldn't be trying to record this at 2 in the morning, but whatever, I'm gonna do it anyway. Welcome to the first post-rotation draft. So, our very first rotation just hit. We are now in Rocket On as the format, so we've lost all of the staples from base set, etc. And should be interesting to see how things show up. See how things turn out. Neo Revelations, full of like legendary Pokemon. Most of them aren't super amazing, but I will quickly just mention the cards that I'm looking for before we actually get started here. Kingdra is priority number 1. This is the deck I want to play this week, so we will be fiending for that for sure. We want the Aerodactyl potentially because it can let you recall attacks on your previous evolutions. We want this Entei over here because it has a good synergy with the Typhlosion. We want this Porygon 2 because it can change your energy to different types. So you can use Dark Energy with other stuff here. And we want the Crobat because we want to trade this to Psy basically. As far as the other bits go here, the Shining Pokemon, these are actually 1 in 18 or so to pull. Supposedly 2 in every box. We're hoping not to pull them, to be honest, because they're not very good. But otherwise, what else is there? Ampharos is kind of neat. That's probably about it. Promo-wise, there's a couple of things that are good here. This Mistrevus is not really one of them, but I mean, it could still be interesting at the very least. Pokemon Center gets a reprint here. This alongside Fossil Psyduck that I forgot about before. These are the only 2 cards currently legal in this exact format from past sets, but this is something we will be jamming into Kingdra if we get it. You know, we get the Kingdras. Lucky Stadium is something which appears in the next set as an actual like uncommon, so we'll be able to use more copies of it then, but this could still be a good counter stadium to have this round to just let, you know, out Chaos Gym basically, and you can draw a card sometimes. It's quite good. And then Pokemon Tower, this is one that people could actually trade for a lot, because this is a pretty good one. This effectively stops any card going from discard to hand, so not maybe as good without Item Finder being a prevalent thing, but it's still really strong to deal with energy retrievals and stuff like that, so we could still use it. This Machamp is funny, not just because of the artwork, but also because we don't actually have Machoke at the moment, so we can't even make this until we get to Legendary Collection. It's kind of silly. Alright, let's not waste any more time, let's just go straight into these, see what we can pull here. Not to load up the cards, because this is a fresh save here. Starting off, not too amazing. Lugia, we lost double colorless energy, so this thing really isn't very easy to charge at all. I guess you could use it as a stall tactic, but honestly, not really that impressive. 80 or 0 if you decide to flip a coin, kind of intriguing, but I don't know, without DC I don't think it's going to see too much play. Breeder Fields is a really interesting trainer card to have access to. If you are playing a Stage 2 deck, you should be playing at least a couple of these, I think, because it lets you potentially get Stage 2s even if you are searching from a basic, which is really good. So key thing to note, if you have 2 of the same Pokemon out, 2 of the same basic, you could search for the Stage 1 and the Stage 2 off of this, which is really neat. Magcargo is its own deck with the Entei, which is quite nice. So Entei that lets you accelerate energy from the deck, ends your turn to do so, but Magcargo then actually lets you do big damage with those. Potentially really good partner for Typhlosion too. Otherwise, I mean, this Graveler would have been really good before. 50 damage, don't apply resistance on its attack, seems super strong. It's not a Golem to go with it, which is weird. And then Quagsire is the good budget, I say good, it's the budget deck for this round. It's a common only, it's 30 damage for 2 energy is okay. Whirlpool is potentially pretty strong, but we don't have Blastoise to charge it up, so depends on your disposition here. But it's a common, so everyone should have it. Shoutouts to the only baby Pokemon left here as well. Smoochum is a thing. If you flip heads, you can shuffle a special energy from the opponent to the deck. Special energy are very common, so even with the loss of DC, there's still Dark, Rainbow, Metal, Recycle, stuff like that. So very, very interesting card there. Second Lugia is not really what we want to see here. Another Breeder Fields is fine. The Golbat would be weird. It's not that good of a card, to be honest. Oh, Kingdra though is definitely what we need to see here. So this Kingdra is super good because it, with one of any energy, you just get to copy your previous stage evolutions and their attacks. And this obviously lends it to Pokemon Center very well. Recycle Energy would be very good with this, but I don't have it. Still, it's a 1 energy attack, it's dead easy to power up. Kingdra itself has no weakness, it is weak to lightning beforehand, but that's fine. The Seadra is 30 damage, flip a coin. If heads, do 10 to a benchmon of the opponents. So that's the attack you're using, and it's just efficient, run the opponent down. 90 HP, no weakness, hard to get rid of. Focus Band might help too. Super, super good. Need to see a lot of that. Balloon Berry is another card that's interesting to look at here. This gives you a switch out, kind of. You still have to manually retreat, but you retreat just by discarding this instead. So it doesn't work against status conditions, but it is still pretty good. If you don't want to double gust, you'll probably still play some of that. Yeah, that's about it for that pack. Let's take a look through. Oh, Magneton. You know what? We got the Magnemite last round, so we can talk about this one. This lets you basically move any of your energy attached to Magnemites around, like, not just Magnemite, but any Magnemite family. It lets you move those energy around, and its own attack charges up energy from the discard. So it's okay. A lot of HP on this thing. The fact if you could move your energy wherever you want means that you could Pokemon Center with this. It's a little bit low in the damage output, but Magnemite itself I think has, well, you could do 40 with it, right? The one from Team Rocket does more damage for every Magnemite family that's in play. So yeah, it's fine. I think it might just be a little bit too low output. 3 energy to do that plasma seems really bad, right? When Rocket Zapdos does it for 1 lightning and only 10 less damage. Rocket's Hideout is actually a really interesting card to print right now though, because next set is where all the Dark Pokemon come in, but this gives Dark Pokemon 20 extra HP, like Dark in their name, so the evolution cards, right? But this recontextualizes all of the Team Rocket Pokemon. Suddenly Dark Jolteon's got 70 HP, Charizard would have 100 for example. A lot of the reason those cards weren't so amazing is because their HP was super low. Flareon even gets to 70, so this might actually make a deck with the Energy Evolution Eevee and whatnot, and it remains to be seen whether or not it's strong enough, but it's definitely something people are going to be testing with. Lantern, the main interest point here is the fact that it can become a water type for the turn, so it actually can hit dual weakness, which is pretty good. Other than that, like, not super impressive. Yo, second Kingdra in the first 6 packs, that is very, very good. Oh boy. Healing Field is also worth talking about here. This is a generic counter stadium, we didn't miss it this time, thank you Sprout Tower. This actually works with a Kingdra, works against a Kingdra more than anything, because it's lower damage output, right? You flip a coin, if heads you remove 2 damage counters on your active, so potions on the coin toss for both players once per turn. Just a generic heal stuff. It would be good for Typhlosion, because Typhlosion does self-damage, so would be nice. Ooh, the Raikou, this is an interesting one. So would have liked the Entei, but maybe we'll still get it, we're only 6 packs in. So Raikou forces the opponent to switch if you attach a lightning energy to it, which is intriguing. Has to be from hand, but right now that's mostly where they're coming from. The Ampharos could accelerate from deck, but whatever. And then 3 lightning, 50 damage, maybe 20 to itself. The damage is respectable for a basic, and that ability is pretty solid. Only 1 retreat too. Very good pickup for lightning decks. We'll just have to see if we can actually make one, you know? Right, next up we've got Starmie. Starmie is an interesting one just because it can do a lot of damage to mono-type decks. If the opponent's on just, say, fire, you can, oh, excuse me, you can do like 20 damage to all of their Pokemon that share a type. Doesn't include colorless though, so you need something else to hit that. A little bit expensive, but like 20 to 3-4 Pokemon of the opponents could be very, very good. Parasect is the big tech for this round. Parasect prevents any card from leaving the discard via an attack or a power. This is technically anti-Typhlosion, because Typhlosion needs to recharge from the discard, but more importantly it's anti-Feraligatr, and that's a huge tech pick. The attack is decent too if you're actually playing grass, like 30 plus a sleep chance for 2 grass is decent. Would be really good when you're gaining them actually, because that lets you use 1 attachment for it. But yeah, it's mostly you want to play like 2 of this to out Feraligatr decks, because if they can't shuffle back into deck, they can only do 10 damage a turn. So that would be the big draw there. Next up, the new Sneasel. So we can't use the old one because the old Sneasel did get banned alongside the rest of the stuff. But this one is not very good in comparison, but if you are playing Dark only on it, it could potentially be like 30 to 50 damage, which is okay. The first attack is the best bit here. If heads discard all trainers attached to your opponent's Pokemon, so all of those focus bands, the gold berries and stuff, they just get discarded. So that would be fun. I kind of want to talk a little bit about the Murkrow here, even though it's not super good, just because it's kind of close. We've seen this sort of attack on the Brock Zubat before, actually, where it's 10 damage times the number of, not Brock Zubat, Koga Zubat, where it does 10 damage times the number of Zubats you have to play, where this one, like, it flips a coin for each of them, and you do 10 plus 10 for it. The problems are it's got 40 HP, and it flips a coin for all of them, and it's only the bench ones, so it caps out at like 40 damage if you flip 3 heads, which is just not strong enough, to be honest. Very, very, very fragile as well. Not worth it. Oh, here we go. This is what we want. So this Entei, if we could get a couple of this, it would be amazing. When you play it from your hand, discard the top 5 cards of your deck, accelerate any fire energy that you find there to any of your fire Pokemon, could be active as well, and then end your turn. Its attack is strong but a little tricky to set up multiple turns in a row, but this in combination with Magcargo was actually its own deck. I reckon you could use this with Typhlosion, and you could accelerate a bunch of energy out, and you actually could use this as an attacker because you can power it up with Typhlosion. So I reckon this is actually pretty strong for that deck too. Definitely want a couple of those. The Ho-Oh is a weird one. So this unfortunately needs a coin flip ahead to do anything with either of its attacks. Its first one is neat, right? Like attach a fire from deck to the Ho-Oh, and then free fire if you flip heads, it snipes 40, which is pretty interesting. And then if you can flip heads on 5 fire, 90 damage KOs most things, but it's a little bit hard to charge for a coin toss move, right? 90 HP on a basic is really good though, so who knows. This Flaffy is kind of interesting, like the Ampharos is really good, so it's worth talking about the Flaffy. If you flip heads on this thing, it's 30 plus 10 spread for the free energy, which, yeah, it's pretty strong, so worth a look. Oh, beautiful. Third Kingdra. This is amazing. We're not even a third of the way through yet, and we have our Kingdra deck, like, straight away. Awesome. I know Sai picked up 1. Kid picked up 0. So, yeah, I'm really, really happy with that. Here's another Psychic Water combo thing here with Jinx. 20 plus 20 in Confusion if you flip heads. It's a little bit expensive for how much it does, but you know, the Starmie also takes that energy cost, so I guess if you're playing that Amalgam deck, it's probably what you're supposed to do with it. I don't know. Next up, we've got Skarmory. Skarmory's not super good, unfortunately. I love this Pokemon, but it gets shafted so much in the TCG. Agility just doesn't do enough for how much it takes. 1 metal and 2 colorless. No, thank you. Not exactly what we want to see, but it's only a rare, so Shining Gyarados, it had to come up. Okay, so again, these are about a 1 in 18 or so to pull. You can only have 1 Shining Pokemon as, named Shining Pokemon in your deck. And as you can see, its attacks are not very good, because they take ridiculous colors, right? We've got water double colorless, and if you flip tails, it does nothing. Hello? 2 water, 2 fire, discard the 2 fire on it, and then do 50 to active, 10 to each of your opponent's bench, and then if you flip heads, you actually mill an energy off of each of your opponent's Pokemon as well, which is insane. However, it is not a fire type, so Typhlosion cannot power it up. How are you getting those fire energy on it, right? If you could somehow do that, this attack is insane. But right now, there's no way of doing that. There's a Holo energy in the next set, however, that you could use once with this thing. I don't know, dude. It's a bit of a stretch, but hey. Oh! God, this pack is insane. This opening is absolutely nuts right now. We got a second one of these Entei, really? Yo, okay. Nothing else really to speak on here. We've got more unknowns and stuff as well, but who gives a crap about them? Let's keep going. Another Skarmory. Oh well. Parasect is good. This Remoraid is kind of neat. Like, you've got to flip heads for it, but it's got 0 retreat too, so keep this in mind. There's an Octillery in the next set that might be usable for it, and yeah, it's not used 20. Like, choose one of your opponent's Pokemon, do 20 damage to it if you flip heads. That's pretty respectable. Aerodactyl, did I get one of these already? No, I did not. Oh, I know what happened with that. It was like the quote-unquote test build for stuff here, like when I was spreading out the packs to get the spacing right. This Aerodactyl is really cool. It works for both players, which is weird, but it lets you use attacks on your previous evolutions to really good effect, actually. So this means that, say, my Typhlosion deck, I would be able to use the attack of the Quilava if I wanted to, or even the Cyndaquil. Obviously, Kingdra does this already, but it's not for that deck, right? You need to fossil egg this thing out, which is the only bad side about it in this set, until we get Mysterious Fossil back, but it's pretty cool and definitely worth a consideration. Here's the other Raikou. So each of the dogs has got a rare and a holo form. The rare forms all have this legendary body attack. They all have 60 ability. They all have 60 HP, 0 retreat. This body would have been really good in the previous set as an anti-energy removal. As long as it's your active Pokemon, you cannot detach like energies from it, and you know, they can't affect it with trainers basically. So you can't energy remove it specifically. I think that's the main one for it, to be honest. But as long as the power is active, aka when it's in the active spot, you discard any trainers that are attached to it, which is unfortunate. The actual attack is pretty solid here, like 30 damage active, flip a coin if heads 20 to a Benchmon. Not as good as the other one, but still pretty respectable at the very least, but there's not really a good way of charging it, right? You need, maybe the Ampharos would be able to do it, but it's hard to justify 3 colored energy on that thing. Then again, colorless energy doesn't really matter anymore, so... Oh, here's Crobat. Okay, so I personally am not too interested in this card, but I definitely see why it would be good. I'm mostly looking for this. This is actually a holo, believe it or not. It just doesn't really have a good background for that. I'm looking for this for Psy, basically. So 1 energy, triggered poison. If the opponent attaches to the active during the next turn, then it becomes poisoned, like the Pokemon you hit this with, which is fun, I guess. Not really that amazing, but still. And then the big one is cross attack. So this is Pin Missile, but if you get 2 or more heads, it confuses the opponent as well. The key thing to note is all of the Zubat line has got 0 retreat. So this, in conjunction with a baby Pokemon, is very, very mobile. You play like 4 Double Gust in the deck, and it's super good. So definitely one to consider if you get enough of it, which is why I'm looking for it for Psy. Here's another Starmie, not really anything too interesting. The Quillfish would have been funny if we had DCE still, like Flip until Tails 20 per heads, but we don't, so it's not very good. There's another Skarmory, not really too impressed here. I'm not really seeing a lot of the trainers I need here. It's another Shining Gyarados. Wow, Kip got 4 of this card, so I guess I shouldn't complain, but still, it's pretty funny. Here's Raikou. Raikou is very bad. 3 lightning energy for 40 damage, you can discard them all to do 80, but honestly, that's just not really feasible. And of course, that's why we get a second one straight away. Here's a third Shining Gyarados. You can only play one, so that's just really amusing. Here's the other Holo. So the legendary Lugia does not get a second form in this one because it was already in the base Neo Genesis, but this is a weird, intriguing build-around card. 30 damage plus 10 more for each type of basic energy attached to Holo for 4 colorless. If it took 3, you would probably be able to do stuff with this, but ooh, that's tough. You've got to build a complete rainbow deck on this, and you can't use the Porygon 2 either. You've got to build a rainbow deck for it. I don't know how you're doing it, but still, it's intriguing. Here's Celebi, the Holo form at the very least. So if you flip heads when Celebi would get KO'd by an attack, from the opponent specifically, but you know, that just means don't Flame Wheel it. Celebi doesn't actually get knocked out, and you shuffle it into the deck, which is really funny if nothing else, but it doesn't usually matter enough. Its attack is okay. Like, it's a cheap attacker if nothing else, so maybe you would play it in a Psychic deck just to go early in. I don't know. I don't think it's super impressive, to be honest, but hey, it is there. Here's Mistrevus, which is an interesting one. So, Mistrevus doesn't have a lot of health, but it auto-sleeps for 1 energy, and Perish Song is the real cool one here. If you used the Night Eyes attack previous turn, and you have the opponent asleep, which we have a trainer card that can facilitate, auto KO, doesn't matter what HP they're at. That's really cool, if nothing else, but not so useful until the next set, where there's a Gengar that makes sleep a lot harder to get out of. Here's the meme for the set, here's Delibird. So, double colorless might have made this potentially playable, but even then, not really. This is like the Gambler of Legend in Yu-Gi-Oh! Like, you flip 3 coins, and depending on the result, you either damage the opponent or you heal them. So, you know, you want 1 or 3 heads, otherwise you are healing the opponent, which is really bad. So, yeah, it's a trash meme holo, obviously. There is a 4th Shining Gyarados. You have got to be kidding me. That is crazy. There's another Breeder Fields is good. Again, we haven't really been getting that many of those, so definitely need them. Very happy to see it. There's another Raikou. Yeah, nothing too special in here. We've got 1 group left to get here, so 6 packs left. See if we can find it. I haven't had the Porygon 2, unfortunately. There's Sneasel. That's fine, I guess. 5 left. A 3rd Entei. Oh boy. Huh. That is really, really good. Okay. Another Delibird. There's a lot of holos in this one. Suicune's pretty cool. We've actually gotten a holo of all 3 of them. That's neat. So Suicune protects itself from any non-damage part of an opponent's attack, which is fun. You can't paralyze it. You can't, you know, remove its energy. You can't do a lot of stuff to it, actually. And then only 30 damage for 3 water is very low, especially considering this has less HP than the other 2. But you debilitate the opponent on like 75% of your coin flips, right? 1 head you put them to sleep, 2 heads you you paralyze them. So pretty cool, if nothing else. There's another Sneasel, and wrapping up the set we have the Raikou again. Okay, I think we got the full playset of Breeder Field at the very least though, so no Porygon 2, it's a little bit of a shame, but that's mostly only if I wanted to try and play Dark or Metal, which I mean, I probably would still play Dark, but I don't really have the things to facilitate Metal, which is unfortunate, but that's fine. I think we're still in very good stead with this one. We got 3 Kingdra and we got 3 of the Entei, which is absurd, to be totally honest with you. I did not expect this to go anywhere near as well. We have a lot of cool test stuff to do. So let's just wrap this up by going through 217. I think that's slightly higher. Yeah, I think it was like 212, 213 was the duplicate. Oh, that's on the wrong side. Yeah, it was like 212, 213 was the duplicates for the other two. So slightly higher, but that's okay. Let's bring these together and we'll show the full draft here and see what we can do. So looking at the actual complete thing here, triple Kingdra is so good. I am over the moon with this. I can trade the other one from Sai. I can probably just trade in the Crobat that's up here, and we have a full 4 Kingdra to play with if I want them. I'll have to see. I don't know if you play 3 or 4. Probably 4, so we'll see on that one, but that's really, really good. 4 Shining Gyarados. Exactly the same as what Kib had. It's really funny. Just the one Magneton, the one Aerodactyl is interesting. We didn't get the Jumpluff for the Skiploom, so yeah, never playing that, obviously. All the Flaffy, but none of the Ampharos, that's a bit of a shame. The one Mistrevus, so maybe next set we can play stuff. Ooh, that's a bit of a low one. I need to trade for the Magcargo. This Magcargo I didn't really mention as we went through, apart from just it made a deck with Entei, but its main draw is Lava Flow here, so you discard any number of fires that you want from it, and it does 40 plus 20 for each that you discarded. So this basically becomes like Flamethrower for like 60 for the 1 discard, or you can discard 2 to do 80, 3 to do 100, and this should work really well with Typhlosion to hit for like heavy numbers without risking your Typhs, right? The Lava Flow attack being the main draw is good, but you can also use Magma Pool to be able to move energy around. This might be more of a detriment than a help though, because the opponent can double gust and put the energy on something you don't want. But having said that, in Typhlosion you kind of want the energy on like everything you'd play, so maybe it would still be worth it. Definitely got to pick up more of this though, because I have the Entei that I, like triple Entei down here. I need to pick up more of this so I can play around with that deck, because that seems really, really fun. But it's an uncommon, it shouldn't be too hard to trade for. 3 of the Sneasels, kind of funny. 2 of the Lugia, yeah, whatever. Both different types of Holo, if nothing else. I know Kib and Sai both pulled 3 of this. I don't think they would want to be building a deck on it, but I mean, who knows, right? And then as we see, the playset of all the trainers down here, which is good. So, happy to see that. We actually did get 6 Breeder Field in the end. I was just worried I wasn't getting enough of them, especially when I was seeing like all of the Rockets hideouts coming in. There's like 10 of them in total. I was kind of worried, but guess I was worried for nothing. So that's good. Any other interesting spares that we had here? Probably not. Nah, not really. Lots of Parasect, I guess, if people somehow don't pull that. So that could be fun. Right. Yeah, so I mean, there's a couple of things that we missed that would have been good. Like saying, Porygon 2, not going to be able to trade for that, unfortunately, but that's fine. We didn't get the Ampharos. This is actually a really good Lightning Accelerator. I was kind of hoping to be able to trade this to Kib, but didn't pull it, so whatever. Essentially, yeah, you flip 3 coins, 20 damage to the active too. So you flip 3 coins, for each head you get a Lightning from your deck and put it on a Lightning Pokemon. So that's really fun, but we just didn't get it, so whatever. That kind of makes this Raikou unplayable as well, unfortunately, but it's fine. What else did we miss? We didn't get the Sudowoodo, which isn't that big of a problem, but Sudowoodo has like all attacks that the opponent's active has, which could be very strong actually in the right circumstance. You do need to pay for those attacks, but Rainbow Energy can work with that. I don't know. One of this would have been nice to have seen, but can't really complain too much. I don't think there was anything else that was really ridiculous that we didn't get here. I know Kib got the Houndoom, which was fun. We got triple Houndoom in the last set. Would have been nice to have had this one, but I don't think it's that strong. so not too worried there. The Jumpluff can let you evolve all of your Hoppits and Skiplooms and stuff in play, so this would have been nice as a one-of for Jumpluff in the E series, but again, not really too big of a deal. And then the Shining Magikarp, because we got 4 of the Gyarados, one of them could have been this and it would have been better, but hey, no complaints from me. Thank you guys very much for watching, hopefully you've enjoyed yourselves. We're going to be doing some pretty interesting deck builds, I think, before the weekend, so yeah, tune in on stream for that, and I will see you later on.